everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. As you can tell by the title, I will be doing a reaction video of the 2024 presidential debate between Biden and Trump, which is found on the NBC News YouTube channel. I will be using scriptures from the book of Daniel for my reaction. And I am not doing this. I need to do a disclaimer. I am not doing this to sway voters in one way or the other because I don't support politics that way. I don't believe that man can solve the problems on this earth because they actually created the problems. I believe in God's kingdom for our ultimate solution. I believe that God's kingdom is reigning and will reign in the future over the earth. And I believe that we're in the last days. And I believe that this is Bible prophecy unfolding. And it's in the book of Daniel. It's also in Matthew and Revelation. But we are going to take a look at the book of Daniel today and compare. Now, you may say, oh, you're reaching, you're just taking what they're saying out of context, and it's just coincidence. But no, none of those things, because you have to look at this with spiritual discernment. You have to look at this with a spiritual eye, spiritual ears, and in a prayerful manner. And a lot of things that they say, they'll contribute to something, but it actually means something deeper. It's spiritual and it is Bible prophecy. So let's take a look. I'm going to only be selecting a few things, a few points here and there throughout the video and sharing that and comparing it with Bible scriptures. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so please, right off the bat, this is my very first reaction video. And so I'm very new to this, so please bear with me. It's not going to be perfect as far as the technical aspect, but I'm going to try my best. And, just bear with me. I plan to do more reaction videos, so I'm sure I'll get better and better with time. You got to start somewhere, right? Okay, so first off, we're going to start by watching Trump walk in. So we're going to watch him walk in, and I'm going to stop at a certain point and talk a little bit about that. So here we go.
Please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Okay, so I'm going to back it up a little bit.
Debate, both candidates and their campaigns agreed to accept these rules.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
How are you? Great to be here. Thank you.
And please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Okay, and this is where I wanted to stop it the first time. Look at his face and look at the continents, his continents. And right above his head, there is the five-pointed star, which is also known as the pentagram. That is a pentagram. And that is used in Luciferian, that is used in Satanism, that is, when it's used in witchcraft and all of those things. It's pagan. Okay, so that's what he's representing. And look at his continents, and we're going to even see that in the scriptures later on. Okay, so after I go through all of these points in the video, then I will do a full presentation of scriptures. I'll do a full PowerPoint presentation, bringing out all of this in the book of Daniel. Okay, so let's go on. Okay, so the next thing I want to share is 5:30.
Is that we find ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history.
Okay, so that's where I want to stop. He rewarded the wealthy. Okay, so they talk about that quite a bit in this video, how um, Trump brought taxes down for corporate, made them real low. Um, and he cut all those taxes for the wealthy people, and then the middle class and lower class people still had large, a great deal of taxes. So that's what I wanted to bring out there. Now we're going to go to 2740, and this brings out about military, talking about the military.
President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we
Okay, the point is they like him more than anybody, okay? The military loves him and he loves the military. That is his baby, really. It really is. Okay, so let's go to 44. And we're going to listen to Retribution.
Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to bring the point out. Okay, so that he talks about retribution, and his retribution is sex. Look at his face. Look at his facial expression. Um, and then Biden says, well, how can you talk about retribution against Americans? And no one has ever said that before. No one has ever talked that way before. And this goes along with some scriptures too in the book of Daniel, and we'll be discussing those. Okay, so now let's go to, let's see, 4705, because we're going to talk about MAGA. Okay, let's start here.
dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Do you believe that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you heard any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? Did you ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided.
Okay, so here again, they bring out MAGA, and we're going to discuss what MAGA really means. And again, he's saying, have you ever heard any president say this before? So again, he's different from any of his forefathers. Okay, so now let's go. We're going to go further up. To 121. Okay, let's start here.
It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. And I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here, but the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation.
Make America great again. MAGA.
Right now, we're a seriously failing nation, and we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III.
We are closer to World War III than anyone could ever imagine. We are very close to World War III. That's what he said.
And he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
He's going to drive us into World War III. Okay, so let's move further up. See, they're telling you without actually telling you. It's called hidden in plain sight. That's what they do. Okay. Okay. So let's start it here because I don't want to, it's hard to get spot on the time. Okay.
along with what's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country. We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation and give people a break.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, you now have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell.
So my point is, he's saying for 3.5 years, we're living in hell. Okay, so those are the points that I want to bring out because those are the points in Daniel that I'm going to share with you. First, let's review Trump's continence when he walks out. He rewards the wealthy. He loves the military. He wants to seek retribution. He's different than his forefathers. His slogan is MAGA. And he said that we're like about to have World War III. That's what it's coming to. And he mentioned 3.5 years of hell. Okay, so now we're going to look at that closely in the book of Daniel. Okay. Okay, so now let's take a look in the book of Daniel regarding prophecy. Okay, so in Daniel 7:15 it says, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit and in the midst of my body, and of my head troubled me. Daniel 12:4 says, But thou, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even till the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Knowledge is now being increased. This is the time of the end, and the prophecy that Daniel saw is actually for right now. So it says in Daniel that this vile person, this king, would obtain the kingdom peaceably and by flatteries. And we can see all these, there's tons and tons of videos on how Trump is flattering people. He has crowds behind him. He's showing with his family how he's such a great man, and he's flattering everyone. Daniel 11:21 says, And in his estate shall stand up a vile person to whom the kingdom shall not give the to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peaceably and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And every scripture, all the scriptures that I'm using are from the King James Version. Rewards the wealthy. They talked about that in the debate. Daniel 11:24 says, He shall enter peaceably even upon the fattest places of the province, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey and spoil and riches, yea, and he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. And again, this is talking about how he will give to the rich, and it says that is something that his forefathers had never done, which is, we're going to talk about that more. Daniel 11:39 says, Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, when he shall acknowledge and increase with glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain. Okay, so again, he has control of riches and he gives it to whom he wants, to people who are in compliance with him. different from forefathers. Okay, so Biden said that he said more than once, "You're so different. No, I've never heard a president talk like that before. You're different than all the other presidents, right?" So, different from forefathers. Daniel 7:7-8 says, "After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns." And this is his kingdom that it's talking about. Daniel 7:19. Then I, and it's actually talking about that one world government, which many people know about. Daniel 7:19 says, "Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet." Daniel 11:24 says, "He shall enter peaceably, even upon the fattest places of the province, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them prey and spoil and riches, yea, and he shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time." And again, he's going to do something that his forefathers has never done. This is something that we've never seen done before. Loves the military. Daniel 11:31-38. "And arms shall stand on his part." Arms shall stand on his part means that the military will stand for Trump. They will do what he says. "And they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifices, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolation. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by spoil, many days. Now, when they shall fall, they should be hoping with a little help. But many shall cleave to them with flatteries. And some of them of understanding shall fall, to try them, and to purge, and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed." So many of those who believe in Jesus, who stand for his kingdom, they will fall because they're going to be persecuted. And this is partly how he's going to do it, by using military force. "And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers." See, he's not going to regard the God of his fathers. He's going to be different. He's going to be different from anyone before. "Nor the desire of women, nor regard any god, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces." Again, he's going to honor the God of forces, which is the military, gods of the military. "And a God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor, with gold and silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things." And there he is. There's tons of little short videos of him with the military as well. World War III. They mentioned World War III. He said, World War III, there's going to be a World War III, and Biden's going to do it. But actually, Trump is going to do it. Okay, so World War III, Daniel 11:25-28. "And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army, but he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. Yea, they that feed of the portion of his meat shall destroy him, and his army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain. This is talking about war. And both of these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, for yet the end shall be at the appointed time. Then shall he return into his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant, and he shall do exploits and return to his own land. And then if you read Daniel 11:40 through 45, it talks about that some more. It says, at that time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen and with many ships. And he shall enter into the countries and shall overflow and pass over. That sounds like World War III to me. You can keep reading. My photo at the bottom of the corner is in the way, so I can't keep reading, but you can read those scriptures on your own. Okay, so retribution. So he talked about retribution, right? So the vocabulary.com says that retribution means retribution is the act of taking revenge. So he's actually not just going to take revenge on Americans. He's not really taking revenge on regular, like, people, just anybody. He's really wanting to take revenge on God's people. That's why he goes after the holy ones. He's going to take revenge on them. Retribution. Daniel 7:21 says, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints. It's going to make war with the saints and prevailed against them. Daniel 8:10 through 12 says, and it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the hosts, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of the sanctuary was cast down, and an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of the transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Daniel 8:23 through 25. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. There again, a king of fierce countenance, and that's the first clip in this PowerPoint where you see his face. Yeah, that's it. Fierce countenance. And the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the Prince of Peace, but he shall be broken without hand. I also wanted to say that in that first clip in this PowerPoint, the very first photo of him walking into the debate, you see, I froze it, his face is fierce, but above his head, which I meant to talk about, is the pentagram, is a pentagram. And you can go scroll back and look at it if you like. It is a pentagram, and a pentagram is it's a satanic symbol and used by Satanists, witchcraft, paganism, and yeah, it's evil. And it shows that, and with it pointing up is referred to as Luciferian, but when the point is down on the pentagram, it's the Baphomet. So they say that pointing up is good and pointing down is bad, but it's all bad. It's all Luciferian. They still call him Lucifer, but he is Satan the devil, and that's who they worship, and that's who his power is coming from. Okay, so let's continue. 3.5 years of hell. He said, we went through 3.5 years of hell. So what is he really talking about? Daniel 7:25 says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. That means 3.5 years. Daniel 12:11 through 12 says, and from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolation set up, there shall be 1,290 days. 1,290 days is 3.5 years. So from the time that he takes away the daily sacrifices, to they set up the abomination that causes desolation, will be 3.5 years, and that is when the great tribulation will start, and it's going to be a 3.5 year tribulation. Okay, and that's when the saints and God's people are going to be persecuted. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. And so the Great Tribulation timeline is 3 years and 6 months, which is also known in the Bible as a time and times and dividing of times, or a time and times and half a time. You'll see it that way as well. And it's also referred to as 1,290 days. 3.5 years of hell. MAGA. MAGA is the crocodile deity. MAGA is not really about making America great again. They, they do things, they're hidden in plain sight, and they understand each other. And they know what they're talking about, but to any ordinary person, you wouldn't really know what they mean. But they know what they mean. So MAGA, so here's the story of MAGA in Wikipedia. Set is a god of deserts, storms, disorder, violence, and foreigners in ancient Egyptian religion. Set is the son of Jeb, the earth, and Nut, the sky. His siblings are Osiris, Isis. You've probably heard of Osiris and Isis before, in false worship. And Nephthys. He married Nephthys and fathered Anubis and Webwawet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these names correctly. In some accounts, he had relationships with the foreign goddesses Anat and Astarte. From these relationships is said to be born a crocodile deity called Maga. It's a crocodile deity. Deity is a god. It's not the almighty God, but it's a little g god. And crocodile, that is the seed of the serpent. So, there's Abraham's seed and there's the serpent seed. So this would be the seed of Satan. This Maga is the seed of Satan, and he's a deity. And yeah, it's all about DNA. Okay, let's continue. So the snake, again, the serpent, the snake. There's a video that Trump did. He reads the snake poem, and you can go and watch it. It's on CBS News YouTube channel. It's called Trump Reads the Snake Poem. I encourage you to go and listen to it. It's an old story. I've heard it before, but what he's actually doing is telling you who he is, okay? He's telling you exactly who he is. So just go listen to it. Okay, so we know that all these things that are coming, we know that we're in the end, we're in the time of Daniel. Um, it's going to be a very difficult time. It's going to go very fast. Things are going very fast. And soon he will be in power. He already is in power, but soon it'll be like, legit to the public. Okay, now I'm in power, but he has been. And but not to worry. Daniel 7:18 says, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever." So ultimately, Jesus has already won this battle. We do have to go through this tribulation. It's going to purge and make our clothing white, and we can show Jesus how much we love him and stand with him, and it will prove our how we are of God's kingdom and not of Satan's kingdom. Okay, so that's all for now. I love you, and I will be back with more videos, so I'll see you next time. Bye.